I found my dead mother working at my husband's office. Sandra from accounting. My husband introduced her at the company picnic, his hand casual on her lower back as he guided her toward me. I dropped my plate, potato salad splattering across my shoes. It was my mother, who died 8 years ago. Her eyes met mine, ice blue and familiar, the same eyes I'd inherited. "Hello, stranger," she said, her voice exactly as I remembered it. My husband's hand tightened on her shoulder, and the smile he gave me wasn't confusion, it was guilt. The paper plate fell in slow motion, but my mind raced at lightning speed. 8 years of grief, of therapy, of learning to live as a motherless daughter, all of it crashing into this impossible moment. She looked different but unmistakably her. The same sharp cheekbones, the same way of tilting her head slightly when meeting someone, the same nervous habit of touching her collarbone when uncomfortable. Her hair was brown now, not the bottle blonde I remembered. She wore designer glasses she'd never needed before. But it was her, Diana Walsh. Except apparently, she was Sandra Mitchell now. "Honey." Robert's voice seemed to come from underwater. "This is Sandra. She's been with the company for 3 years. Best forensic accountant we have." 3 years. My mother had been working with my husband for 3 years. I'd met Robert 4 years ago at a grief support group. He'd lost his father, I'd lost my mother. We'd bonded over coffee and shared sorrow, over the unique pain of losing a parent young. He'd held me through countless nights when the grief hit fresh, when I'd sob about all the moments my mother would miss, our wedding, future grandchildren, Sunday dinners that would never happen. And she'd been 5 floors down from his office the entire time. "Excuse me," I managed, my voice barely a whisper. "I need to use the restroom." I didn't run. Running would have caused a scene, and somewhere in my short-circuiting brain, social conditioning still functioned. I walked calmly through the crowd of Robert's colleagues, past the barbecue grills and children's face-painting station, into the country club's bathroom. My hands gripped the marble counter as I stared at my reflection. I had her eyes, her nose, her stubborn chin. The face staring back at me was half hers, which made her betrayal even more incomprehensible. The door opened. She walked in, Sandra, Diana, mother, stranger. "We need to talk," she said, checking the stalls to ensure we were alone. "You're dead," I said flatly. "I identified your body. I buried you." She flinched. "That wasn't me. I scattered your ashes at Monterey Bay. Your favorite place." "Those weren't my ashes, Melissa." My name on her lips broke something in me. "Don't you dare say my name. You don't get to say my name." "Please, let me explain." "Explain what?" "How you faked your death. How you've been alive for 8 years while I've been destroyed by grief. How you've been working with my husband." She stepped closer. I stepped back. "I didn't know he was your husband when I started working there," she said. "By the time I found out, it was too complicated." "Complicated?" I laughed, sharp and bitter. "You know what's complicated? Planning a wedding without a mother. Complicated is having panic attacks in the grocery store because you smell someone wearing her perfume. Complicated is..." The door opened again. Robert walked in, his face a mask of carefully controlled panic. "You can't be in here," I told him. "This is the women's room." "I know," he said quietly. "I also know this conversation needs to happen somewhere private, and security is about to do their rounds out there." I looked between them, my husband and my dead mother, and saw the truth in their careful distance, their practiced casual demeanor. "How long have you known?" I asked Robert. He couldn't meet my eyes. 6 months. 6 months. 6 months of coming home to me, of listening to me talk about my mother, of holding me on the anniversary of her death just 2 months ago while I sobbed into his shoulder. "You let me grieve her," I said, my voice breaking. "You sat there and let me cry about my dead mother while knowing she was alive." "It wasn't my secret to tell," he said. "You're my husband. And she's your mother. She had reasons." "What reasons?" I turned to Diana. "What possible reasons could you have for this?" She straightened, and for a moment, I saw the woman who'd raised me, controlled, calculating, always 3 steps ahead. "Your father," she said simply. "Dad died when I was 12. "No," she said. "He didn't." The bathroom walls seemed to close in. I sat on the small vanity chair, my legs unable to hold me anymore. "That's impossible. We had a funeral. The car accident was staged. Just like mine." Diana's voice was clinical now, detached. "Your father wasn't the man you thought he was, Melissa. He was involved with some very dangerous people. When he decided to leave that life, to protect us, we had to disappear. Together. The word came out strangled. The plan was for all three of us to disappear together, she said. New identities, new life. But the night we were supposed to leave, your father got word that they were specifically watching you, using you to track us. If you disappeared too, they'd never stop hunting. Robert spoke up. The car accident was meant to throw them off, make them believe he was dead. And it worked, Diana continued. They stopped watching us. For 5 years, we were safe. You were safe. Then they found me. I looked up at her. So you faked your death too? I had to. If I stayed, they'd eventually get to you. My death was supposed to be the end of it. They'd think the whole family was gone, no loose ends. Where's Dad? The question burned my throat. Diana and Robert exchanged a look that made my stomach drop. Where is he? I demanded. Witness protection, Diana said finally. Real witness protection this time, not our amateur attempt. He testified against his former associates 2 years ago. Somewhere. I don't know where. That's the point. I stood up, pacing the small space. So you're telling me that my entire life has been a lie? That both my parents faked their deaths and left me alone? To protect you, Diana insisted. To protect yourselves. I shouted. You abandoned me. I was 17 when you died. 17. Do you know what that did to me? You were strong. I was a child. Silence fell heavy between us. Robert shifted uncomfortably by the door. How did you find out? I asked him. About her. He ran a hand through his hair. She slipped. Called me by my grandfather's name one day. Something only your family would know, from that story you told about our wedding. I confronted her, and it unraveled from there. Our wedding. Where I'd cried about my parents not being there, where Robert's mother had walked me down the aisle because I had no one else. You've known for 6 months, I repeated. Every day for 6 months, you've lied to me. I was trying to protect you, he said. That seems to be everyone's excuse. Diana stepped forward again. Melissa, please. I know you're angry. Angry? I laughed. I'm not angry. Angry is when someone forgets your birthday or breaks your favorite mug. I don't even have a word for this. I never stopped loving you, she said, tears finally breaking through her composed mask. Every day for 8 years, I've wanted to reach out. Do you know how many times I've sat in my car outside your house? How many times I've watched you through Robert's office window when you came to have lunch with him? You've been watching me. I'm still your mother. No, I said firmly. My mother is dead. Has been for 8 years. You're Sandra from accounting. The words hit her like physical blows. Good. Robert's phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned. We need to get back. People are asking where we went. I'm leaving, I announced. Melissa, please, Robert started. I'm going home. Alone. I need to think. Let me drive you, he offered. No. I'll get an Uber. I looked at Diana one last time. Don't contact me. Either of you. I need time to process this. I left them in that bathroom, walked through the picnic maintaining a plastic smile, and disappeared into an Uber that took me home to a house that suddenly felt like another lie. That night, I sat in my living room surrounded by photo albums. Pictures of my father teaching me to ride a bike. Was he already involved with dangerous people then? Photos of Mom at my high school graduation. Was she already planning her exit? My wedding album, Robert's guilty face taking on new meaning in every shot. My phone rang constantly. Robert. I didn't answer. Finally, at midnight, I texted him, staying at Jenna's. Don't come looking for me. Jenna, my best friend since college, didn't ask questions when I showed up at her door with a suitcase and red eyes. She just opened her arms and let me fall apart. The next morning, she brought me coffee and sat cross-legged on her guest bed. Want to talk about it? Robert's been lying to me, I said. About something huge. A fae. Worse. My dead mother is alive and working at his company. Jenna blinked. I'm going to need more coffee for this. I told her everything. By the end, she was pacing her small apartment, fury radiating from every step. So let me get this straight, she said. Your parents faked their deaths, abandoned you as a teenager, and your husband has known for months. That's the summary. And they all claim it was to protect you. Apparently. She sat back down, took my hands. What do you need? I don't know, I admitted. How do you even process this? Therapy, she said immediately. Lots of therapy. And a lawyer. I don't want a divorce. Maybe. I don't know. Just to know your options. And Mel. She squeezed my hands. Whatever you decide, I'm here. 3 days passed. Robert texted constantly, respecting my request not to call but desperate to communicate. His messages evolved from apologies to explanations to simple I love you texts that made my chest ache. On the 4th day, Diana showed up at Jenna's apartment. How did you find me? I asked through the barely opened door. I'm your mother, and I'm good at finding people who don't want to be found. Family tradition, apparently. Against my better judgment, I let her in. Jenna hovered protectively nearby. Diana sat on the couch, looking smaller than the woman who'd raised me. I brought something, she said, pulling out a thick envelope. Proof. In case you thought I was lying about the danger. Inside were newspaper clippings, police reports, photos. My father with men I didn't recognize, all now with red XS through their faces and notations. Arrested 2019. Deceased 2018. Life sentence 2020. These were the people who would have killed you to get to us, she said quietly. Every one of them is now dead or in prison. It's finally safe. Safe. I laughed bitterly. I haven't felt safe since I found out my entire life is built on lies. I know. I'm sorry. Sorrier than you can imagine. Why accounting? I asked suddenly. Why work at Robert's firm? She looked surprised at the change of topic. I'm good with numbers. Always have been. And I needed a job that paid well but kept me invisible. Corporate accounting is perfect for hiding in plain sight. Did you know Robert was dating me when you took the job? No. He was just another executive then. By the time you two got serious, I was established there. Leaving would have raised questions. So you stayed and watched me marry him, knowing you were 5 floors away from his office. It was torture, she admitted. But also a gift. I got to see you happy. I got to know you were okay. I wasn't okay. I was grieving. But you were alive. That's all that mattered. Jenna, who'd been silent, finally spoke. With all due respect, that's bullshit. You chose your life over hers. Own it. Diana looked at her, then at me. She's right. I chose to run. Your father and I both did. We told ourselves it was for you, but we were scared too. I was a coward. It was the first honest thing she'd said. What do you want from me? I asked. Nothing, she said. I have no right to want anything. I needed you to know the truth. And to know that despite everything, I love you. I've loved you every day of these 8 years. Love isn't enough, I said. Love without presence is just absence with excuses. She nodded, tears falling freely now. You're right. She stood to leave, then turned back. Your father, he wanted me to tell you something if I ever got the chance. He said, tell her the Sunday pancakes were real. My breath caught. Sunday pancakes. Our tradition. Chocolate chip for me, blueberry for him, plain for Mom. The one morning a week we were just a normal family. Tell him. I paused, then shook my head. Don't tell him anything. He made his choice. After she left, I sat with Jenna and cried for hours. Not just for the mother I'd lost twice, but for the father I'd now lost twice too. For the family that never really existed. For the girl who'd grown up thinking she was loved but not enough to stay for. That night, I finally went home. Robert was sitting on the porch, looking like he hadn't slept in days. I didn't know if you'd come back, he said. Neither did I. We sat together in silence for a long moment. Were you ever going to tell me? I asked. Every day, I almost did. But it wasn't my secret. We're married. We're not supposed to have secrets. I know. I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting you. Everyone keeps saying that. But protection without consent is just control. He nodded. You're right. I should have told you immediately. Yes, you should have. Can we fix this? His voice broke on the question. I looked at him, this man I'd married, who'd held me through grief that he knew was unnecessary. But also the man who'd genuinely loved me, who'd been caught in an impossible situation. I don't know, I said honestly. But I'm willing to try. With conditions. Anything. Therapy. Together and separately. Complete honesty from now on. And Diana. Sandra, she has to leave the company. Already done. She resigned yesterday. Where will she go? I don't know. She didn't say. Part of me ached at that, losing her again. But I needed space to decide if I wanted her in my life. 6 months later, I sat in a coffee shop, waiting. Diana walked in, looking nervous. We'd been texting for a month, small things, testing the waters. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. "I'm not ready for Mom," I warned. "I may never be." "I understand. But maybe we can start with coffee. Once a month. See how it goes." Her face lit up with careful hope. "I'd like that." We talked for an hour. Not about the past, not about the lies, but about small things. Her job search. My promotion. The book I was reading. It wasn't comfortable, but it wasn't unbearable either. As we prepared to leave, she said, "I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But thank you for giving me a chance at something." "Everyone deserves a chance at something," I said. "Even ghosts." Robert and I were still in therapy, still rebuilding. Trust, once broken, takes time to repair. But we were trying, and some days, that was enough. My father remained in witness protection. I received one letter, forwarded through multiple lawyers, that simply said, "The pancakes were real. So was the love. I'm sorry it wasn't enough." I kept the letter in the same box where I kept my mother's death certificate, the fake one. Reminders that love can coexist with betrayal, that protection can become abandonment, and that sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones who claim to love us best. But also reminders that I survived it all, that I was stronger than they thought, that I could choose forgiveness without forgetting, could rebuild without pretending the foundation hadn't cracked. My name is Melissa Carter. My parents are both alive and dead. My husband kept an impossible secret. My mother is a stranger I'm learning to know. And somehow, in all this mess of lies and love and loss, I'm finding my way to something true. It's not the life I thought I had. But maybe, just maybe, it's the life I needed to build.